I'm Julia Davis, a film major who stumbled into the business world with no experience in 2006. I was able to fail enough to learn how to run a seven-figure business and have provided consulting services to over 200 individually owned companies. Through this podcast, I hope to provide some perspective on the growth and grit it takes to accomplish big goals and share some hard lessons I've had to learn along the way. Thanks for tuning into the Growth and Grit podcast. My name is Julia Davis, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about mission statements and recruiting. As recruiting and finding good talent is one of the hardest things to do when you start a business, it's really important to nail down what you're looking for. And sometimes we recruit first and then we figure that out later. So I'm going to try to help you get ahead of that and talk a little bit about that. If you find this helpful or you think other people need to hear it or see this, send it to somebody who maybe runs a small business or is having a hard time in this area, which is finding the right talent or even recruiting the people that they want to recruit to start in their business. So I'm going to share with you a document that I created in regards to this specific topic. So as you can see here, if you're recruiting people, your job is to create an offer or opportunity for someone to participate or not. So as you are learning how to recruit and develop and maybe find the right people, you got to realize your job is not to sell someone on what you're trying to do. It's to give them an offer or an opportunity for them to either take part in or not take part in. And a mission statement is vital to this scenario here. So the first thing you want to think about is who you help. So in that top left quadrant there, who you help. So when I ran a direct sales office in Dallas, Texas, my goal was to find highly driven people who wanted to build a specific skill set. So you would say that in your interview process, you would open up your conversation with your mission statement, which is all four of these sections here. But I'm going to break them down for you. So who you help, define that. So who do you want to help? My goal is to find highly driven people who have great attitudes and want to learn, build a skill set in sales and marketing. That was my goal. People that can build and develop teams, right? How do I help them do that? Well, I've created a training program to help this person learn, evolve, and succeed in X, Y, or Z industry, whatever industry you're in, right? So I've created this to be able to help this person evolve. So if you're somebody who has an independent business, let's say you own a coffee shop, you could say, my mission, who I help people find the best cup of coffee and, whatever, how you help them buy the ingredients that you use or whatever. So you want to tailor this obviously to your business. I'm speaking from my experience, which is running a business in direct sales where we did a lot of recruiting. So how I helped them was I created a training program to help this person evolve and succeed. So combining those two, when I would sit down with someone for an interview, I would ask them questions about themselves, like where they went to school, what they did before this, why they left their last position, what they were looking for. And I would really intently listen to see if my mission that I knew in my head was matching what they were looking for. So I didn't tip them off about what I was looking for first. I let them tell me what they were looking for. I'm like, okay, so are you okay with working some evenings and weekends? Are you, what are you really looking for in your next career? What are you hoping to accomplish by, applying to a position that specializes in sales and marketing? What type of mentorship are you looking for? How serious are you about meeting goals? Give me an example of, I'm listening and hearing what they have to say to see if they're the person that I'm looking for because I already know who I want, which is a highly driven and motivated person who wants to build a skill set, right? So then I would tell them what I'm looking for. I'd be like, okay, great. And now I know what you're looking for. Let me tell you what I do here and what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for somebody who is highly driven, who likes people, who wants to build a skill set, who isn't afraid of challenges and hard work and, putting forth some time and energy to be able to learn something new. I'm looking for, and I would go through the list of the qualities that I know make someone successful in this industry. Like, does that sound like you? And they're like, yes. Usually they're like, yeah, it does. It sounds exactly like me. I'm like, great. So here's what I've created to help this person succeed. So in the industry that I'm in, we created a training program to help this person learn, evolve, adapt, handle challenges, work with clients, whatever it is. And then what they get out of that. So I'm like, by learning this skill, whether this person stays in this industry or they don't, they'll be more adaptable. They'll be able to handle challenges better. They'll know what it's like to handle rebuttals and conversations and being in uncomfortable situations and how to work through different obstacles and, conflict and whatever. They'll learn interpersonal communication skills. They'll not only get free access to mentors and mentorship for free, which is very unique, but they would also get education and training from people who are in the industry that we're in, on top of that, access to conferences and different things that are all included in the training. Or, if they aren't, you would talk about what you would offer that person, whether it's health insurance or benefits or time off or whatever it is. You talk to them about what they would get out of working with you and like the opportunity that you have to offer them. And then you talk about outcomes from that. I'm like, look, I've worked with a lot of people. There are some good outcomes and some not good outcomes. Some people take this information and they decide, you know, to just not use it at all and just say, forget it, sales is not for me, and they go on a different path. That's okay. Some people take this information, end up using it incredibly well, creating an opportunity for themselves, and end up either leaving this industry and doing something unbelievable, or they become unbelievable in the industry that I'm in. I'm using different examples of people and different outcomes. Like, some people look at this and say, hey, this type of obstacle is not something I'm willing to go through, so I don't even want to get involved in this. Other people look at this and say, hey, I'm motivated by challenges. I'm motivated by obstacles. And I'm showing two different sides of a picture here to see how they're going to respond. Because if I know how they're going to respond in an interview, the chances are that's how they're going to respond when they work with me. So I'm kind of challenging them a little bit to see two different sides and say, have you ever worked with people who maybe got information and didn't want to do anything with it, and people that really took information and ran with it? Give me an example. Who do you think you are? What would your coworkers say is your best and worst quality, right? I'm really challenging them. But when you go into these interviews and you're trying to find somebody, you have to be so sure of who you are and what you're looking for and what you have to offer. And if you're confident in who you are, what you offer, and then they can just refuse it or not refuse it, recruiting becomes very, very simple because you just lay it all out on the table. You're like, hey, who are you? This is who I am. Are we a good match? And as long as both parties are incredibly transparent, or you can get to that transparency level, the chances of you finding somebody who's great go up significantly higher. The reason why interviews or you're hiring wrong people is because you're gatekeeping. It might be because they're not telling you the truth about who they are, and you're maybe not doing reference checks, which you should do. Or you're not totally transparent about who you are. You're trying to fluff it up. You're like, yeah, this is going to be easy and fun and light and exciting. It's like, yeah, it can be all those things, but it's also going to be very, very hard. Only select people can make it through, the insurance training or whatever it is that you're offering. Like, only very few people are able to accomplish this. And here's why: because this is the type of person that can do it, and this is who usually quits. And I'm breaking that down for people to see how they respond to that, because I really want to bring on board people who are also confident in who they are and they know exactly who I am. So there's no surprises when they start. A lot of times people fall off 1 week, 2 weeks, because they're surprised by what's actually happening versus what they were pitched. And if it seems like a pitch, it's wrong, because it should just be the truth. Like, this is what you're going to get. This is what we offer. This is why it's important. Boom, here it is. But you've got to iron out your mission statement, who you are, who you help, how you help this person, what they can get out of it, and the outcome from that, good, bad, whatever it is, what outcomes you've seen from that, and like what the hopeful outcome is. Talk about that, but be realistic. Like, is that everybody's outcome? If it's not, be honest. And people will really, really do well in that type of environment. And you'll find that you'll really weed out a lot of the people that shouldn't be there very, very quickly. And you will attract and retain the sharper candidates that you are looking for in your industry, because they're different in every industry. You'll find your person faster if you can really nail this. So if you're having a hard time with recruiting, or it's not going well, really evaluate this step right here and iron this out and see if it increases your retention. If it does, let me know. I'm happy to help your business or any business that you have or you think you're going to do in the future. You can find my link on Instagram. Click on the link in the bio on julia.bizstories. Schedule a time for a one-on-one, and we can set up a time to chat. Thanks for being on, guys. Have a great week. Every week on the Growth and Grit podcast, we bring you real stories and practical tools to help you thrive through challenges. If this resonates with you, make sure you subscribe, follow, and share this podcast with someone who could use it too. It only takes a second, but it would mean the world to us, and it keeps you plugged in to fresh inspiration.